Okay, class, let's start with a word of prayer. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Thank you, sir. Josiah, your 48's not done though. It has to be done because I'm grading it. Okay, this page has to be done. Okay, heads bowed, eyes closed, let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Bless this rest of our day. Lord, help us to do well. Lord, help us to do well in our spelling test we're about to take, to learn in our grammar, Lord. And I pray that these students would be diligent in getting their assignments in. Lord, I pray that you would bless the food we're going to eat in a little bit to our bodies. Lord, we love you so much. In your name I pray. Amen. Okay, we're going to start with our paper spelling group first. I will give you 2 minutes to look back over them. Make sure you study carefully. Those of you that are in the book group, you may study. Remember that you need to know your words, your definitions. It's review, so a lot of this should be pretty easy. If they give you the definition, you have to be able to give the vocabulary word. The roots and prefixes are bonus. There is going to be one section that is matching on the vocab. I will give you a word bank on the board for the other ones, okay? So make sure you study. If you think you are ready, then you may begin working on language page 54. We learned about quotation marks yesterday, so you may begin working on that. Page 55 is a page we're going to read. So if you think you're ready for your spelling test, at any time you may pull out your grammar and work on that, okay? Yes? Were you here when we went over this? No? Commas, practicing with commas and end marks. Let's see, when did you come in? Okay. I'll have you skip over this, and I'll just go ahead and erase your name off that. You just won't get a grade for that one, and then from here on, just make sure you're doing every assignment with us, okay?
What page is the commas and series?
That was a handout that I gave.
Oh.
So don't worry about that one either. Just from here on forward, we'll worry about you. Work on studying your spelling right now, okay? List 8 when you have your test on. Huh? Your spelling. That's what your test is here in just a minute. Okay, 1 more minute, those of you that are in the paper group. Here's the first test. You started, but you didn't write all of it. Okay, if you're in the paper group, go ahead and clear off your desk, please. Make sure your list is put away where you cannot see it. Yes, sir?
Your vocabulary word is going to be matching?
It's going to be matching. What does the word priority mean? Lenin?
Which comes before in order?
Okay, in order of importance, right? So can you use priority in a sentence for me? What? My Bible is my priority. Very good. Okay, just want to make sure we understand what that word means. Make sure your name and date is on it. Once again, make sure your list is completely put away so we cannot see it. Yes, ma'am? You're underlining direct quotations. So anything that's a direct quote, something someone is saying, you're going to underline the entire quote. Okay? Yes, so on your spelling test, you're going to have to be able to spell these And then you're going to have to be able to know what these ones mean. Okay, so some of them will be matching. And then if you memorize these are going to be bonus. So that'll give you extra points. Okay, did everyone in the paper group get a test? Okay, number 1. Write the word equator. Equator. Gianni, can you hear me? Go ahead and comment. Right now I'm giving the other spelling group their test. Your test will be next, so if you want to just study or work on the grammar pages, we are doing grammar pages 54 through 57 today. You can either study or work on those, but make sure you can hear me and let me know. Number 1, equator. Equator. The equator is a line that goes directly down the center of the earth. Equator. Adam, are these your tissues down here? Those aren't yours? Can we get them in the trash can? Number 2. Especially. 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 I especially love garlic bread with my spaghetti. Especially. Especially. Think about how you spell special, because that's the root word in this one. Especially. Especially. Think about how we spell special. Especially. Number 3. Establish. 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 Sound them out. Establish. The lady wanted to establish her new business. Establish. Number 4, example. Example. We should strive to be a good example. Example. Number 5, excellent. Excellent. I pray that you all do an excellent job on your test today. Excellent. Sorry, Tristan. Didn't mean to step on you. Excellent. Number 6, excitement. Excitement. There was a lot of excitement in the air about Christmas. Excitement. Gianni, can you hear me? If you can you please comment? Excitement. Yes. In your folders the next week. Yeah. Excitement. Number 7. Exercise. Exercise. It is good to exercise to stay healthy. Exercise. Bless you. Number 8, experience. Experience. It was a good experience going to Israel. Experience. Number 9, Exterior. The exterior wall was covered in paint. Exterior. Exterior. And number 10, familiar. 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 It was good to see a familiar face at church. Familiar. Okay, does anyone need any of those repeated? Yes, Tony. Number 5 was excellent. I hope you do an excellent job. Anyone else? Okay, those of you that are in the book group, go ahead and clear off your desk, please. Thank you. Thank you. Those of you that finish, you may begin working on your grammar, please. Page 54 and 55 right now. Oh, Cameron, put your name on it. It's the first thing we always do. Thank you. Can you pass this up to me real quick? Okay, Gianni, make sure you have your test out. If you can hear me, please comment. Make sure you have your test out. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Yes, sir. I want you to do your page 55 and 54 and 55 first, because that's what class we're in. If you finish that, you may. Okay, number 1, sentence dictation. Yes. No, not right now. I don't send you during class time. You guys know that. Okay, number 1. Everyone at the dinner completely finished his dessert. Everyone, oh, hold on. That was the wrong page. Go ahead and erase that, guys. Sorry. And Gianni, make sure you have this. And And I haven't seen you comment, so I'm hoping you can hear me. Okay. Number 1. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. The story, Cameron, of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. Remember what we need to have at the beginning and the ending of a sentence to make it complete. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. Make sure we're writing neatly. Don't write so big that it's sloppy. Okay, write nice and neat. Number 2, dictation. Spell each dictated word. Number 2, write the word triceps. Triceps. I have been working on building up my triceps. Triceps. Number 3, reference. We wrote the Bible reference with our verse test. Reference. Reference. Number 4, acceptance. Acceptance. The child was taken in with acceptance. Acceptance. Number 5, seismograph. We measure an earthquake using a seismograph. Number 6, neutrality. Neutrality, meaning not taking sides, not partial. Neutrality. Number 7, Christianity. Christianity, the religion that follows Jesus Christ. Christianity. Number 8, monotony. Monotony, meaning doing the same thing over and over. Monotony. Tony, let's get your grammar done so you can use some time for your math. Number 9, photography. Photography. Yes. You can find your pen. You don't have more than one pen?
Yeah.
Number 9 was photography. Number 10, manageable. Manageable, meaning able to be managed. Manageable. Number 11, assurance. The little girl made assurance of her salvation, meaning to be sure. Assurance. Number 12, depreciate, meaning to lose value. Depreciate. As soon as the car was driven off the lot, it began to depreciate, to lose value. Number 13, severity, meaning severe. Severity. The severity of the punishment drove the child to tears. Severity. Severity. Number 14, binoculars. Binoculars. We used binoculars when we went bird watching. Binoculars. Number 15, disturbance. Disturbance. The constant hammering of the nail was a disturbance during school. Disturbance. Number 16, bicycle. Bicycle. She rode a bicycle to her friend's house. Bicycle. Does anyone need any of those repeated? Go ahead and raise your hand if you missed one. Gianni, if you missed one, go ahead and comment in the box.
Can you read the sentence again?
I will read the sentence again. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. Make sure when you're looking at number 3, it says circle the misspelled word in each pair, then spell it correctly on the line to the left. Make sure you do both parts. Circle the misspelled, write it correctly on the line. Roots and prefixes are bonuses. Number 5, vocabulary A. All of your choices are on the board right here. Vocabulary B is matching. And number 7, sentence, write a good sentence for the definition using the correct vocabulary word instead. They give you a definition. Then they want you to say what that word is that means that. You're using that vocabulary word in a sentence. Okay? Some of you have not been reading the instructions on those sentences and you've been missing points. So take your time, do your very best. If you have questions, raise your hand. Yes, Adam?
It says the story of the overthrow of the monarchy was credible.
The story of the overthrow of the monarchy was hardly credible. Hardly credible. Anyone else need anything repeated? Tristan? When you're done, you can bring it in. And if there isn't a stack, go ahead and put it in its own stack. Yeah, just make a new stack if it's not. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes to work on that. When you're done, you may bring it up and start a stack, turn it in. Indiana. I think I'm missing. Yes. Yes. You can just start a stack. Thank you, ma'am. Then you can work on your grammar. Take the tissue to your desk. Thank you. Those of you that finished, please work on your grammar. If you're done with 54 and 55, we're going to do 56 and 57 together. Yeah. If you're done with those, then you can work on something in another class for a few minutes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can I please?
Let's see who's in here. Gavin, Josiah, Adam, and Emmeline. Those are the only math tests I have up here.
Turned my YouTube. Can I go run that to the office?
No, I told you this doesn't go to the office. This goes to Mrs. Coral. You need to listen to me. I don't see that math test, honey. I don't have yours. You didn't leave it for me.
I don't know what I do here.
So do you remember what vocabulary word on your list meant the body's ability to resist infection or disease? Okay. Then just leave it blank. Thank you. That's okay. Because you'd have to know the vocabulary word for that one. Those of you that have a spelling test out, I'm going to give you about 3 more minutes, okay? You need to, work on your grammar. Pages 54 and 55, okay? Language.
So for this?
Yes. So they want you to underline every direct quotation. Remember, direct quotation is something that someone's saying. The whole statement. Yep. Anything that's in, you just underline it. Anything that's surrounded in quotation marks is a direct quotation. I don't know what one either, honey. I don't know what you want to do. Look. You all, listen, 6th grade, I feel like you all don't have enough supplies, okay? You need to have more than just one pen and one pencil. If you lose one, you have another one. You guys seem to be irresponsible with your stuff. Gavin, we don't use Sharpies. Where's your regular pen? Okay, put that away and use a regular pen. Look at all of this. That's going to be really hard for me to read. Okay. So here, you're going to underline anything that's a direct quotation. So anything that someone's saying. And the hint is that it's surrounded in quotation marks, okay? And then I want you to read page 55. All finished, Josiah? Thank you. Yes. For a minute. As soon as Gavin's done, we're going on to our grammar. Yes, sir. What did you say? All done? Okay. Oh, that was easy then. Okay, class, while Gavin is finishing, let's go ahead and pull out our grammar books. Put your math test aside. Those of you that I just gave you your math test, you'll have to finish those at lunch. Put them aside, pull those grammar books out. Go to page 54, please. 54. Quickly, page 54. Okay, it said underline direct quotations in the following paragraphs from a chapter in Little Women, written by Louisa May Alcott. Yesterday we talked about when we're writing with dialogue, okay? When you're writing with dialogue, the word dialogue just means conversation, back and forth, okay? If I am talking to Shane, we are exchanging dialogue. So don't be overwhelmed with these larger words, okay? That's all that means. Dialogue is conversation. It's direct quotations. So when we are talking and we're using someone's exact words, we have to put them in quotation marks. And that's what we introduced yesterday. So page number 54, it says underline direct quotations in the following paragraphs from a chapter in Little Women, written by Louisa May Alcott. Mrs. March and her daughters have received a letter from Mr. March, who was serving as a chaplain in the army during the Civil War. How many of you have seen Little Women? Okay, or read the book? A couple of you? Okay, so that's what this excerpt is from. It's from that story, Little Women. As they gathered about the table, Mrs. March said, with a particularly happy face, "I've got a treat for you after supper." What is the direct quotation here that we need to underline? Liviana? I've got a treat for you after supper. You are underlining that whole phrase. You'll notice it is surrounded by quotation marks. Are these tied to your chair? Let's move it over on the other side just so I can see everyone's faces for a minute, okay? And you can have them back in a minute. Okay, let's look at the second paragraph. A quick, bright smile went round like a streak of sunshine. Beth clapped her hands regardless of the biscuit she held, and Jo tossed up her napkin, crying, "A letter! A letter! 3 cheers for Father!" What's the direct quotation in this paragraph, Ariel? Good, so we are underlining that whole sentence. A letter, 3 cheers for Father. Next paragraph. Yes. Yes, sir? Do you have a question? No. Yes, a nice long letter. He is well and thinks he shall get through the cold season better than we feared. He sends all sorts of loving wishes for Christmas, and a special message to you girls, said Mrs. March, patting her pocket as if she had got a treasure there. Yes, Adam, what's the direct quote here?
Yes, a nice long letter. He is well and thinks that he shall get through the cold season better than we feared. He sends all sorts of loving wishes for Christmas and a special message to all you.
Good, and you can tell by the quotation marks that surround it, that is what Mrs. March was saying to her girls. This is an interesting movie. I do recommend you guys watching it or reading it because it does give you an idea of what it was like in those days where World War I, those early days, people were really, some people would get sick in the winter and they just didn't have the medicines like we had to combat that. One of the sisters in the story actually dies in this movie, in the story. But it gives you an idea of just the things that they went through. I think one of them, it shows an image of them taking their Christmas dinner to a family who had nothing. And so many times we're just so ungrateful for what we have. You guys don't realize how good we have it here with all the technology. We have air conditioning when it's hot. We have heaters when it's cold. They didn't have those. That's why many people would get sick in the winter. We have grocery stores. We didn't just have to grow our crops. And what if our crops don't grow? Then we don't have food for the winter. So it is interesting to research and study how many Americans lived many years ago and how different it is from how we live. And it gives us something to be thankful for sure. Let's look at the next paragraph there. Hurry and get done. Don't stop to quirk your little finger and simper over your plate, Amy, cried Jo, choking in her tea and dropping her bread. Butter side down on the carpet in her haste to get at that treat. Beth ate no more, but crept away to sit in her shadowy corner and brood over the delight to come till the others were ready. What's the quote here? Someone else. Liviana? Quirk? Good job. And then the next paragraph. I think it was so splendid of Father to go as a chaplain when he was too old to be drafted and not strong enough for a soldier, said Meg warmly. What's the quote here, Cam? Yes, we're underlining all these. Yeah, you should have already been doing that. Josiah, what's the quote here? What is Meg saying?
I think it was just under 5 ago as the chapter was to keep practice and got stronger for soldiers.
Good. That whole thing from the beginning quote to the end quote. Next little paragraph. Don't I wish I could go as a drummer, a Vivian, what's its name, or a nurse, so I could be near him and help him, exclaimed Joe with a groan. Landon, what's the quote here?
Don't I wish I could go as a fireman?
Yes.
What's its name? Or a nurse, so I could be near him and help him.
Good. It must be very disagreeable to sleep in a tent and eat all sorts of bad-tasting things and drink out of a tin mug, sighed Amy. What's the paragraph here, Ariel? Very good. The next sentence. When will we come home, Marmee? Asked Beth with a little quiver in her voice. Shane, what's the quote?
When we come home.
Good. When will he come home, Marmee? And then not for months, many months, dear, unless he is sick. He will stay and do his work faithfully as long as he can, and we won't ask for him. We won't ask for him back a minute sooner that he can be spared. Now come and hear the letter. Yes, the whole thing's a quote. Yep, it's you see the beginning quote, the end quote. That is a very good example of a written dialogue. Look, that whole thing is just dialogue back and forth. So if you're ever given the assignment, I want you to write a one-page dialogue. This is an example of it. You would write a paper that has people basically talking back and forth to each other using these quotation marks, okay? Let's look at page 55, writing dialogue. When writing conversation, writers begin a new paragraph each time when the speaker changes. Notice the use of paragraphing for the dialogue on page 54. You guys see that every time someone else starts to talk, a new paragraph is started. Here is an example of a written conversation taken from the Swiss Family Robinson by Johann Weiss. In this excerpt, the father and his oldest son are returning after an expedition from the island on which the family has been shipwrecked. And they give an example there. One after another, our dear ones came running to the opposite bank, testifying in various ways their delight at our return and hastening up on their side of the river, as we on ours, to the ford at which we had crossed in the morning. We were quickly on the other side, and full of joy and affection, our happy party was once more united. The boy, suddenly perceiving the little animal which was clinging close to his brother, in alarm at the tumult of voices, shouted in ecstasy, "A monkey! A monkey! Oh, how splendid! Where did Fritz find him? What may we give him to eat? Oh, what a bundle of sticks! Look at those curious great nuts Father has got." So you'll notice that was something that was spoken. So it had its own little paragraph there, that dialogue. We could neither check this confused torrent of questions nor get a word in to answer to them. At length, when the excitement subsided a little, I was able to say a few words with a chance of being listened to. I am truly thankful to see you all safe and well, and thank God our expedition has been very satisfactory, except that we have failed to discover any trace of our shipmates. And now this is someone else speaking, so you notice they started a new paragraph. If it be the will of God, said my wife, to leave us alone on this solitary place, let us be content and rejoice that we are all together in safety. And now there's another statement that she is saying. Now we want to hear all of your adventures, and let us relieve you of your burdens, added she, taking my game bag. So in that yellow box, says, you see how the words the characters are speaking are made obvious to the reader by the use of quotation marks and paragraph indentation. Okay, so I'll let you guys read that a little bit more, but let's go back. Let's go to the next page, page 56. Can you conquer quotation marks? Think A, it says, study the following direct quotation. Be ready to answer the questions for your teacher. Okay? The quotation here says, an Arabian proverb says, I complained because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Let's look at question number 1. Why is there a comma after says? Yes, Ariel? Yeah, well, whenever there's a comma, we do want to pause. But why do we put a pause there? Yeah, because what's coming next is the quotation. So we always put a comma right before a direct quotation. So we always put a comma right before what, class? A direct quotation. Always put a comma before that quote starts in a sentence. Okay, number 2. Why are there no quotation marks before "and"? The word "and". Why are there no quotation marks there? Pretty easy. Ariel? No, it didn't. The quote starts with the word what? I. The direct quote starts with the word I, so we put it right before the word I. And that's number 3. What was the first word of the direct quotation? The word I. Number 4, reword this to make it an indirect quotation. How could we reword that to where we're not quoting it exactly? Anyone think they can take this challenge on? So instead of saying, an Arabian proverb says, I complained because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. How could we change that to where we're saying the same thing but not in a direct quotation? Gavin, what do you think? Okay, he said somebody complained about not having shoes until he met a man who had no feet. Okay, so he took the same proverb, but he turned it into a way where it's not a direct quote. It's not exactly what the proverb says. You could even just say something as simple as this. An Arabian proverb says that if you complain, or someone complained because they had no shoes until they met a man who had no feet. Sometimes if we just add in that little word "that," it makes it to where it's not a direct quote as well. Okay, let's look at thing B. Use proofreader's marks to add the missing quotation marks to the following poem. The Butterfly and the Caterpillar by Joseph Lauren. Let's read this together out loud, and when we get to a place where you think there needs to be quotation marks as we're reading, just raise your hand, okay? Let's start with the title. Ready, begin. The Butterfly and the Caterpillar by Joseph Lauren. A butterfly, one summer morn, everyone reading, sat on a spray of blossoming thorn, and as he sipped and drank his share of honey from the flowered air, below upon the garden wall, a caterpillar chanced to crawl. Horrors! The butterfly exclaimed. Okay, what did we miss there? Adam? Quotation marks around the word horrors, because who's saying that? The butterfly. The butterfly exclaimed means that's what the butterfly said. So put starting quotes before horrors and end quotes after horrors, or after the exclamation point, really. Okay, let's start with the next line. Class, everyone reading nice and loud. Ready, begin. This must be stopped. I am ashamed that such as I should have to be in the same world with such as he. Preserve me from such hideous things. Disgusting shape. Where are his wings? Fuzzy and gray, eater of clay. Won't someone take the worm away? Adam, good. Where should we have quotes?
This must be stopped.
Good, and it ends where?
Someone take the worm away.
After the word away. That whole thing is a quote. You notice the comma after exclaimed, the butterfly exclaimed? Okay, so that means his quote is continuing. So we had to put quotes in front of this and again after away. He's saying all of that. Okay, let's look at the second little stanza there. Let's read it together. Ready, begin. The caterpillar hunched ahead, but as he munched a leaf, he said, 8 days ago, young butterfly, you wormed about the same as I. Within a fortnight from today, 2 wings will bear me far away to brighter blooms and lovelier lures, with colors that outrival yours. So flutter, flit, be not so proud. Each caterpillar is endowed with power to make him by and by a blithe and brilliant butterfly. While you, who scorn the common clay, you in your livery so gay, and all the gaudy moths and millers are only dressed up caterpillars. Okay? Ariel, did you see something that needs to have quotes? Right before 8, and where does it end? All the way at the bottom. Yep, it says, but as he munched a leaf, he said, And then starting at 8, he said that all the way down to the end. Good job. Okay, let's look at page 57. It says place quotation marks around the first part of each sentence, which is a direct quotation. Capitalize the first word of the direct quotation. Add the missing commas and use proofreader's marks whenever possible throughout this unit. This is the only little section we're going to do, okay? But let's do it right. Number 1, who can read me the sentence? Ariel, go ahead. Very good. What is the quote that we need to have quotation marks around? Yes, we need to put it in front of the word good. Good temper is like a sunny day. It sheds its brightness on everything. And then after everything. So you need to enter in quotation marks. We need to also add a comma. Where does the comma go? Ariel? After said. And we need to do one more thing. Adam? Always do what to the first word of a quotation? Capitalize the word good. Okay, so you should have inserted comma after said, inserted quotation marks before good, capitalize the G in good, and quotation marks at the end. Number 2, make sure you're getting all these. And God said, let there be light. What is the quote there, Liviana? Good, so we need quotation marks around, let there be light. Go ahead and put those in. What else do we need, Liviana? Comma after said, and? Capitalize the L and let. Very good. Number 3, he must increase, but I must decrease, said John the Baptist. Shane? Before he and? After? After decrease. And then we need to insert a what? Comma after, not after said, after decrease. And the comma comes in the quotation marks, okay? So it should look like this. Decrease, comma, and quotes. Okay, remember commas and periods always come inside the quotation marks. Always, always, always. Did you get that, Peyton? Okay, number 4, Abraham Lincoln once said, it is true that you may fool all the people some of the time. You can even fool some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Tony, what's the quote? After it or before it? Before. That's the start. So we need to put the quotation marks before it and at the what? End. At the end. And we need to insert what? After what word? After said. Very good. Make sure when the quote is coming after the comma there does not go inside the quotes, okay? Because the quote's coming after. So that comma goes right after said, and then you're beginning quotes. Okay, number 5. When I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. Adam?
Neither more or less? Hold on. Local theme?
There's 3 words that are not quotes. When I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. What is it that Humpty Dumpty is saying here?
I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said, it means just what I choose to mean, neither more or less.
You're including something in the quote that's not part of the direct quote. Ariel, can you give him a help? Good. So quotation marks around when I use a word. What else? Yes, and we need to have them around it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. Humpty Dumpty is saying, when I use a word, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. That is an interrupted quotation. They put when Humpty Dumpty said right in the middle of what he said. So remember, when that happens, we have to put quotation marks around both parts. We also need to insert a comma after what word, class? After said. Okay, number 6, the last one. The rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today. It must come sometimes to jam today, Alice objected. No, it can't, said the Queen. It's jam every other day. Today isn't any other day, you know. Who can do this one? Emmeline?
No, I think the quotation marks in front of no and put up one behind in front of said and put a
Good.
comma.
Put a comma, yep, right after the word can't. So you have quotation marks before no, then comma after can't, then end quotes after the comma. Then, I'm going to help you guys out with this one. Let's start at the beginning though, because she missed the beginning. What is Alice saying? What's Alice objecting to? Ariel? Very good. So beginning the sentence, right in front of the word the, we need our beginning quotes. Then we need our end quotes right after or before the word Alice. Make sure we put a comma after the word today. Make sure you're getting all of these. Then, no it can't is what the Queen said, so we have quotes around no it can't, comma after the word can't. And then she also said it's jam every other day. Today isn't every other day, you know. So we need beginning quotes before the word it's and after the word no. And that one had quite a bit. Yes?
For the first sentence, where do we put our first quote?
At the very beginning. Right in front of the word the. Huh? Right before Alice, because it's saying the rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today. It must come sometimes to jam today. Alice objected. So Alice objected is telling you that that's what she said. So it starts at the, it ends at the word today. Comma in front of the word in front of the word Alice. And then the Queen said, no it can't. So we need quotes around that. And she also said it's jam every other day. Today isn't every other day, you know. So then we need quotes around that last sentence. Okay. That one was quite a bit. All right, we're going to pause there for today. You do not have homework. However, you're going to love this because I am going to give you an assignment, but it is not due today. It's due in 4 weeks. This is going to be your first book report, okay? So you guys are going to start reading Billy Sunday, and it's going to be due the week after we come back from Thanksgiving break. Now, some of you will not read anything, and then you'll wait for that last week, and you're going to be trying to read a book in one night, and I'm telling you, you won't do well if you do that. If you read 5 pages every day, you'll have this book read, okay? And it's not very much, okay? 5 pages every day and you'll have the whole book read, okay? And then, just so you know, this is how your book report is going to be graded, okay? If you read the book in its entirety and you're honest about it, and I will be able to tell if you read it because I am reading it, and I will know by your report if you knew what the book was talking about. If you have not read it in its entirety, that's 50% of your grade. Okay, so if you read it, you automatically have a 50%. Pretty easy to get 50 points just by reading the book, right? So that's the point of a book report, right? How can you do a book report if you don't read the book? You can't. So if you read the book, you get 50 points automatically just by reading the book. If you fill this out, that's an additional 25%. If you read the book in its entirety and you fill this out, you can already get a 75% passing grade just by reading and doing that. The book report, the final draft, will be your final 25% of your grade. Okay? So it won't be a difficult assignment as long as you read this in its entirety. That's the key. This is a graphic organizer for a book report. It gives you some little things to fill out. If you fill this out, then it'll be super easy for you to write your book report, because then you just take this information that you wrote on here and you put it into sentence form, and you can write your book report probably in 10 minutes. Okay? Because your book report only has to be 1 page. It doesn't have to be long. Okay? Does everyone understand what we're doing? Okay? So I'm going to pass this out. Make sure your parents see this. They can help you fill out this part once you're done reading your book. Okay? So you don't want to lose this because this is 25% of your grade. So don't trash it. Don't lose it. Keep it in your binder. Okay? When you're done reading, you can fill this out. This will be due the Monday that we come back from Thanksgiving break, because that day in class, I'm going to help you write your rough draft if you have this completed. If you don't, you're on your own, okay? But if you have this completed, I will help you write your rough draft. And then that Friday, you'll just take, once you write your rough draft, I'll make some marks on it, make some corrections, and then you can just write your final draft and turn it in, okay? So this will be a test grade, and I think it'll be an easy A as long as you read the book. Okay? Gotta go get more of those papers. Yes, Shane, you have a question?
So after we read the book, do we do out the paper thing?
After you read the book, then you fill out the paper that's connected to this, and then you're going to bring that to class with you, and I will help you write the rough draft in class once you have that filled out, okay? If you keep your books in your backpack, sorry, Liviana, then you can read. Take it home and read, obviously, because you're doing this reading outside. But if we're here in class, or maybe you're in another subject, but you're done with all your work and the teacher says you can work on something else, I would recommend having this in your backpack so you can always read it no matter where you are. Okay? Yes?
Does this also count as the reading thing that we have?
Yes. If you want to use this as your time for your book it, you can totally do that. I will allow that. Yes.
So we finished all this and we need help with the rough draft.
Class, let's answer that. Emily just asked me a question and I just answered that, so let's help her, okay? Once you fill this paper out, where are we doing the rough draft for the book report? In class. Once you fill this paper out, you're bringing it to class right after Thanksgiving break. I'm going to give you time during that class period to write your rough draft, and I will walk around and help you. Okay? Everyone understand? Awesome. Okay, make sure you get that put away right now. We're going to pray and get lunch. Yes, sir. Oh. There you go. Yes. Thanksgiving break is the week of Thanksgiving, so it's like 3 weeks from now. Okay, let's pray. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Let's pray for lunch. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Bless this food to our bodies. Lord, help us to have a great day today. Help us to have a great weekend. We love you so much. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, make sure those papers get put away properly right now so they don't get lost or ruined. Ladies, you may get your lunches.